Hey and welcome, I'm Laura of Namasturm Yoga. Join me for another full-length VINYASA yoga practice. So we're going to start today's practice sitting. I definitely like to start this way with a full-length yoga class just because it gives you a chance to check in with yourself, tune in, really focus so that you're ready for the practice to come. I think this stillness, which you can bring your hands to your knees and just let your head float up on top of the neck and close the eyes. This stillness starts with the body and maybe starts to influence your mind. So as soon as you sit still, you might notice that you can tell your mind is racing. We're not going to be able to change that by force, but I like to think of it as the stillness in the body is trying to be a good influence on our mind. So we just let our body be still for a moment and see if the mind can take a cue from that. Something else that can really be helpful here is just to focus on the breath. And I know it sounds kind of cliche, but do let yourself do it. Take an interest in your inhales, in your exhales, in the length and depth of your natural breathing rhythm. And hopefully, as you spend a moment doing this, some of the internal and external stimulus starts to just get fuzzy in the background, so it's not your focus anymore. And then from here, while still sitting, we can transition to an Ujjayi breathing practice. So slightly narrow the back of the throat. Begin to allow that friction you've created to bring a sound to your breath. Start to steady out the rhythm of your breathing. And then once you've got that rhythm established, we're going to start to move with it. The first thing we're going to do is come to hands and knees and take some cat-cow stretches. So really simple, really basic, but a great way to warm up and check in with the spine, as well as connect the movement of the breath to the movement of the body. Inhale to cow pose, exhale to cat pose. If you're not familiar with this sequence, it's really very simple. It's just as simple as arching the spine, letting the head and tail lift and chest and belly drop on an inhale, and then the other way around. Or I guess this is the arching. Swaying the back is cow pose, and arching the back is cat. Try to follow your breath here. And then leveling out, let's go ahead and tuck the right toes under and just slide the ball of the foot to the back of the mat. So we're starting to touch in with our legs a little bit. See if you can stretch out your calf by pushing the heel away from you. And then at the same time, start to engage your core abdominal muscles just by kind of pulling your navel up towards your spine, stabilizing there. Lift your right toes off the floor a little bit and then reach your left arm out alongside your ear. Finding a little bit of balance, so if you steady your gaze at a single point, that will help. Now, let's bring elbow, nose, and knee together. And this is going to feel a little like cat pose. You're rounding your back here. Inhale, reach out, and just try to extend long. Exhale, curl in. So again, connecting to your breath. Inhale. Exhale, curl in. And then one more time, reach out and either hold in the extended position or bend your right knee, reach back with your left hand for your foot and just let that heel pull up and away from the hip. So we get a little bow stretch. So this might actually feel a little like cow pose, but in a balanced situation. And let go of the hand and knee, drop them to the floor, switch sides. Tuck your left toes, slide the ball of the foot to the back of the mat, reach through the heel. Try to feel this in your calf muscle. And then try to re-engage those abdominals if you kind of let them go. Pick up your left toes, reach your right arm out, try to find some balance here. Keep the belly toned, and we don't want to sway the back, but rather pull the navel in so that the spine is nice and long. And then elbow, nose, knee, draw together, curling the back. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, tuck in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. Inhale, extend, and either hold again, or if you did on the first side and you're able to, bend your left knee, find your foot with your hand, and then try to pull the heel away from the hip so that right shoulder gets pulled back. Maybe lift your gaze a little bit. Let that go. Hands and knees to the floor. Maybe walk the hands a little further forward. Let's take our first down dog. So tuck toes, lift knees and hips, heart back, relax the neck. Take a little time to pedal through the feet. Bend one knee, let the opposite leg straighten, and then switch sides. I always think of down dog as kind of like home base in a vinyasa practice. We're going to be here a lot, and then this is kind of the pose that you can go to rest and take a little breather from the flow. So this pose should feel good. If it's newer to you, some struggles that I see people have with it is sometimes their back doesn't want to lengthen and their shoulders end up way over the wrists. If that's you, bend the knees more, lift the heels more. Almost try to think about bringing your belly to your thighs. The priority in this pose is that lengthening in the spine. Not so much worried about whether the legs ever straighten or whether the heels ever hit the floor. That said, once you've got the length in the spine, you can start to work the legs, but you don't want that to compromise what's going on in the upper body. All right, and then from here, let's walk the feet forward, coming to the top of the mat in a standing forward fold, and now we can just let the upper body dangle. Keep your feet about hip distance apart, let your head hang. Relax your neck, maybe sway or nod or shake the head a little. If your hands hit the floor, you can grab your elbows. All of this early part of practice is warming up, or in some ways even waking up, because once we get into our sun salutations, that's going to be a more of a warm-up feeling. From here, if you've got the elbows, release and bend the knees more. Let's roll up to standing. So stacking the spine one vertebra at a time, head comes up last. Move your shoulders back and down. Let's take the arms out and up. Reach, lift the heart. Exhale, swan dive forward over the legs. At the bottom, bend the knees and roll up. I'm just turning to the side here. And then we're going to grab the right wrist with the left hand and pull over to the left for a little side stretch. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Just a little flow here. Bend the knees, roll on up on your inhale. And then side stretch the other way. So grab the left wrist with the right hand. Inhale, arms up, maybe look up. Exhale, swan dive forward. One more time each side. Bend the knees, inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, stretching the right side by going to the left. Inhale, up. Exhale, swan dive. Bend the knees, inhale, come on up. Exhale, other side. Inhale, up. And then swan diving forward again. So you're back in your forward fold. From here, walk the feet together. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Bring your fingers to your shins. Ardha Uttanasana, or half forward fold, where our spine is lengthened, our navel pulls in, our head reaches away from the tail. If your hamstrings are open, you can slide the fingers down your shins to your ankles, maybe fingers to the floor. But if you try to bring your hands down and your back starts to round, return the fingers to the shins so that your spine can stay long. Now, keeping the neck and the spine as long as possible, bend the knees, bring the hands to your mat, and step to plank. So the neck stays long in plank pose. We've still got that same sense of extension through the torso. Strong through the core, reach back through the heels as well. And breathe here. Now from here, let's lower down. On this first one, maybe knees come down first. but then bending the elbows to drop the heart between the hands. As the elbows bend, they stay by the sides of the body, so don't let them wing out, if you know what I mean. Cobra pose, maybe staying with baby cobra. Elbows stay by the sides, no weight in the hands, just the chest lifts a little bit using the upper back muscles. Or full cobra, gently press down with the hands. Keep the elbows by your sides and soft, so we're not locking our elbows, and we also don't want to hunch our shoulders forward or up to the ears. Shoulders are rolling back and down, so it feels like the chest is ahead of the shoulders. Soft legs and glutes, and then from here, tuck your toes, lift your hips up, and then float the knees off the floor as well for downward facing dog, and breathe. Okay, we're really just warming up our first Sun A here, and then we're gonna flow. I'll give less instruction as we go on. I just like to give guidance at the beginning of a practice, especially if someone's just kind of getting into it for the first time, just as good reminders. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or walk, or you could hop to the front of your mat again, feet together. Inhale, take that half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold Uttanasana, and then root down with the feet to rise up in a reverse swan dive and palms together in front of the heart. Let's just flow right into our first full Sun A. Inhale, exhale, forward fold Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step to plank and lower Chaturanga Dandasana, or you can come all the way to the floor. Inhale, up dog on just the tops of the feet, or stick with cobra where your thighs are down. Exhale, roll over the toes, lift the hips, heart back, downward facing dog, and hold for a few breaths. Fingers spread. Notice if you have a tendency to bring your fingers together or cup your hands or roll to the outer edges of the hands. I see all of those things happening with students. Sometimes if your mat is slippery, it feels like you can't really root down. But the goal is to have the entire underside of your hand on the mat, pushing forward and down to help move your hips up and back. Inhale, look forward now. Exhale, step walk or hop the feet. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Reverse your swan dive. Come on up and palms together in front of the heart. Let's keep flowing. Inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time maybe just one inhale. Exhale, step walker, hop forward. Half lift. And fold Uttanasana. Reverse your swan dive. And palms together in front of the heart. Let's keep it flowing. Inhale, follow the pace of your own breath. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, high to low plank. The sequence doesn't change. Take your back bend and down dog. So if you're a little ahead or behind me, that's okay. One breath here. Make it back to the top of the mat. Lifting and folding. Reverse your swan dive and palms together. Keep going. We're going to do about 2 more rounds. Try to keep your rhythm consistent, even if it's not the same as mine. You want to be consistent in your own pace and flow. Let's continue on to the next time you arrive in downward facing dog. So same sequence to get you there. Stay consistent. And once you're in downward facing dog, just let yourself hold and breathe here. The ujjayi is still rhythmically flowing through your body, so try not to drop your breathing practice just because you've come to stillness. Let's take down dog split. So take the right leg into the air. Try to keep your thigh facing the floor, which means the hips remain level, so you're very squared off and structured. Look forward between the hands. Step forward between the hands. If your foot gets caught in the middle of the mat, use your hand to help you. Move it to the front so your knee is over your ankle. Keep your back leg straight and strong. We're going to come on up for crescent pose, which is a big high lunge. Reach the arms up, steady your gaze at a single point ahead of you. Now let's take the left hand to the floor inside that right foot and take the right arm up. Keep your right knee over your ankle. Stack your shoulders, look up towards your top thumb. From here, we're going to transition to side plank on the left. So try to keep your shoulders aligned and your arm up if possible, and just move the legs. Roll to the outer edge of the back foot, and then your right foot's going to kind of just wiggle back. Maybe it just comes halfway back for a modified version. You want to take the full version, stack the inner edges of the feet, lift the hips, top arm is up, maybe lift your gaze up as well. Turn to the floor, you're back in plank, take a vinyasa. And we're just going to go right into the other side. So from downward facing dog, take the left leg into the air, down dog split. Look forward, step forward, coming to a high lunge crescent pose. Steady your gaze forward to keep your balance. Keep lunging into that front knee, but straightening out that back leg so it stays strong and keeps the pose from just collapsing to the floor. Take the right hand down inside the left foot, left arm up, stack your shoulders. Look up if you can, nice easy twist. And then trying to maintain your upper body, stabilizing through your collarbones. Roll to the edge of your right foot and move that left foot back into place for side plank, Vasisthasana. Turn to the floor, take your vinyasa, or you could skip the vinyasa and just go straight to down dog. So although this is a vinyasa practice, you may not want to do every one. It's totally up to you. This is your practice after all. I'm here to offer guidance and suggestions, but if you need to vary it up, especially because you're at home in your own space, do what you need to do for yourself today. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop your feet. Half lift and fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, knees over toes, chair pose, Utkatasana. Arms alongside the ears, weight on your heels. A little bit of a zigzag in this pose, but we don't want to stick the hips way back. So a little bit of engaging of the abdominals and letting your tail move towards the floor. And then let's take a vinyasa. So straighten the legs forward, fold, inhale, half lift, and then make your way back to down dog. Let's take the right leg into the air. This time we're going to take a little variation on down dog split. So open the hip and bend the knee. Let your heel drop by your left hip. Point the knee to the sky, but try to keep your shoulders level up front. Neck is still relaxed, heart is still pressing back. Look forward, step forward. We're going to take warrior one. So similar to the high lunge, but maybe step your left toes a little to the left so that you can rotate your left heel down. Come on up, square the hips. This is Virabhadrasana 1. Take the arms up, reach through the fingers, soften the shoulders. You might choose to bring the palms together and lift your gaze towards your thumbs. Root into the outer edge of the back foot, but at the same time keep driving your left hip forward. We're gonna go from here to a standing split. So let your fingertips come ahead of your foot onto your mat or the floor. Float your left leg up and fold into that right leg. Left foot next to right. So just bring it up to the front of the mat. Bend the knees, sink the hips, chair pose, Utkatasana. Let's twist to the right. Left elbow outside the right leg. Press those palms. Now continue to stand on the right foot. Shoot the left foot to the back of the mat. You're back in a high lunge, but in a deep twist. Maybe fly the arms open. If you like to bind in this pose, take the opportunity to move your left arm under that right leg and see if you can wiggle the right fingers behind you. Hang on, twist your chest towards the ceiling. Now if you've got the bind, release it. Let's come on up. Keep your facing to the right side of your mat and maybe stretch back. Look towards your right heel or your left heel, the one that's in the back of your mat. Right arm up and over. And then cartwheel the hands to the floor. Let yourself take a vinyasa. Maybe modify your vinyasa. You'll see me doing some of that for sure. And we got a whole second side to do here. Let's take the left leg up, open the hip, bend the knee, point that knee to the ceiling. Step your left foot forward, back heel pivots down, warrior one on the left side, Vira one, Virabhadrasana one. Check in with the alignment. So we kind of want to prioritize alignment. Alignment is designed to help our body, not make it worse, but it can make the poses more challenging. Now let's bring palms together and look up. From here, standing split, so fingertips to the floor, float the right leg up and back, fold towards your left. And then feet come together, chair pose. So you're at the top of the mat again, and we're gonna twist the other way to the left. I'm just gonna go to the other end of my mat so I can keep facing you. The right elbow's outside of the left leg, press your palms. And then standing on your left foot, see if you can step that right foot all the way to the back of the mat. Front knee over ankle still, straight back leg, reach through the heels, try to keep your balance. You can fly the arms open, or if you want, you can work towards binding here. Right arm under that left leg. See if you can get the fingers to meet under that leg. Once they actually meet, it's a little easier. It's getting them together that can be challenging. Once you've got the fingers, twist your chest towards the ceiling. Keep reaching through that back heel. Keep your balance best you can. Let's float on up and stretch back. Maybe look to your back heel. And hands to the floor, take your vinyasa. Breathing in down dog. Now if you need more of a rest, you can certainly drop knees to the floor and take child's pose. Otherwise, from here, let's take the right leg up into the air. Just one inhale to lift it. Exhale, step your foot forward. Inhale, warrior one again, and then we're just gonna open to warrior two. So sticking with our basic standing poses, front heel and back arch line up, trying to level out your hips, front knee is over ankle, arms at shoulder height. Look over those right fingertips and breathe. Turn the front palm up. Reverse your warrior, so stretching back. And then cartwheel hands to the floor, vinyasa. Heading back to down dog. We're going to do the other side, of course. So inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Notice that that back foot needs to kind of adjust to get into warrior two. So front heel and back arch line up now. Try to level out your hips, shoulders right above them, arms at shoulder height, look over the front fingers. Make sure your knee remains over your ankle. And then turning that front palm up, reverse warrior for a couple breaths. Cartwheel hands to the floor, vinyasa. Take a breath or two in down dog. We're gonna do next a couple rounds of sun B with an added warrior two. So it's a little longer than a sun B, a little shorter than a full dancing warrior. You'll be able to follow. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step walk or hop your feet forward. Half lift. Fold. So we'll start the sequence with chair pose. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, right to Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. And then moving through vinyasa to get back to down dog. So keep following the breath. Once you're in down dog, inhale the right leg up into the air. Exhale, step it forward between the hands. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, open warrior two, just like we did in the last sequence. Inhale, reverse warrior. It's all one breath per movement. Exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog, second side. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. One inhale in down dog. Exhale, step walk or hop forward. Half lift and fold. Chair pose one more time. Follow your own rhythm. Uttanasana and Ardha. Take your vinyasa. Don't feel rushed. We're using the entire inhale or exhale to transition from pose to pose. So it's not sharp, it's smooth. Right leg up. Exhale it forward. Full warrior one. Open to warrior two. Reverse the warrior. High to low plank. Up dog or cobra. Downward dog. Left leg up. Bring it forward. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse. And vinyasa. We'll meet in down dog. You might be ahead of me or behind me. Continue with your own rhythm. And hold to rest in down dog. Or knees to the floor if you need that in child's pose. So from downward facing dog, let's take the knees to the floor. And we're just going to take a quick little interlude because we have more standing poses and flow to do. But let's take the elbows under the shoulders, root down to the forearms, and take a good dolphin pose here. So root down, lift the hips, move the heart back. The head should be hanging freely. If you like, walk the feet in a little closer. Try to get the hips above the shoulders, and then take the right leg up. Get that leg above the hip, above the shoulders. Reach the toes for the ceiling. And then just put that foot back down slowly, so don't just collapse down, come down nice and easy. And then take the left leg up, reach it for the ceiling again. And then when you're ready to take those toes down, bring your knees down, bring your hips to your heels. Give yourself a child's pose here. Forehead to the floor, arms lengthen out. And then we're going to go into either headstand or repeat the dolphin pose. I'll talk through headstand and how to practice it, but I know everyone who takes classes with me is at a different level. So be where you need to be today. Stay with dolphin if you need to. If you're ready to just launch right into headstand, feel free. If you need to come near a wall for your headstand practice, also do that. So elbows to the floor, under shoulders again. Interlace your fingers. If you just want to practice today, nestle your head up by your hands, tuck your toes, and you're going to do just like we just did with dolphin. So the head's on the floor, but you're going to walk the feet in. You're going to take one leg up, nice and slow, and then even think slower as you bring that foot back down to meet the other one. And then do that with the other side so that you're starting to build your core strength. If you get your leg up and you find that without hopping, the second one will float off the floor, then bring the legs up. And this is probably easiest done against a wall if you're new to headstand. Reach through the inner feet. Some of you might also be piking up, in which case you bring both feet off the floor simultaneously. The hips reach behind you to counterbalance. It is more challenging. It can be done, but you need to have a little bit of core strength ready to go and be pretty confident in your balance. Take your time upside down, and if you're just working on dolphin, you might need to take some breaks. When you're ready to come down from your headstand, try to come down with as much or even more control than you went up with. So whether it's one leg at a time with the leg that's still up, counterbalancing, or if you're bringing your feet down together, your hips counterbalance by reaching behind you so you can come down really slow. You can do this at the wall as well. If you're a few inches away from the wall, move your hips towards the wall, and then the feet slowly descend in front of you. Knees to the floor. Let's go ahead and stack the fists, forehead to the fists. A little easier for a release on the neck after you've put some weight on it in headstand. Breathe. And then hands to the floor in front of you. Let's come back to downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, lift your hips. Take the right leg up on an inhale. Exhale, step it forward, kind of picking up where we left off. Back heel down, inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Now inhale, reverse warrior, and we're gonna go into extended side angle. So forearm to the thigh, top arm overhead at a diagonal alongside the ear. The legs in the low body really are no different in warrior or in extended side angle than they were in warrior two. So try to keep your left hip dropped and the front knee over your ankle. Now if you want to go into a bind here, half bind, left hand comes behind you, reaches for the top of the right thigh. Full bind, right shoulder drops in front of the knee, right arm wraps under the leg. So not that dissimilar from the bind in our high lunge twist, but it might be actually a little easier to get that bind. Lift your top shoulder up, twist towards the ceiling. Those of you in a full bind who want to take a bird of paradise today, let's go for it. If you're not in the full bind, just stay in extended side angle. Step your left foot forward for bird of paradise, keeping your bind, standing now on that left foot at the top of the mat. Float up with that right leg still connected to you. Shoulders back, straighten your standing leg, and then see if you can straighten your lifted leg by reaching through the heel. When you're ready to come out, bend your knee again. Replace your right foot on the floor, and then trying to step fully back to that bound extended side angle. Lift your shoulder again. Now release the bind. Everyone come on up. Reverse warrior, hands to the floor, vinyasa. And of course we can do the same thing on the other side. Left leg up on an inhale. Exhale to bring it forward. Inhale, starting with warrior one, flowing with the breath. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. And then moving to extended side. So maybe just working forearm to the thigh, top arm at a diagonal, creating this extended side of your body. Maybe right hand behind you for the half bind, grabbing the top of the thigh. Maybe left shoulder drops in front of the knee. And then the arm comes under the leg. So we don't want the hands here, no. Under the leg, hands hold. Shoulders back. For those of you going into Bird of Paradise, have a good clasp. Right foot steps forward. Maybe takes a couple of steps, it's okay. Trying to stand on that right leg now, floating up with the left leg in that bind. Shoulders back. Try to straighten your standing leg and lift, and then flex into your left foot to extend through the leg as best you can. And then bend your left knee, step it down, step the right foot back. Release your bind, reverse your warrior, vinyasa it out. As always, you can skip the vinyasa, but I think they feel good. They start to feel familiar and nice after some standing poses. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step walk or hop your feet forward. Half lift and fold. Let's bend the knees to chair pose. We're back in Utkatasana. From here, I'm going to turn to face you a little bit. We're going to stand on the right leg, pick up the left foot, cross the ankle on the thigh, palms together in front of the heart. So it's a standing balance pose, but our knees are bent. Obviously the right knee or the left knee is bent, but our standing knee is as well. So we're still kind of in a chair pose. Now from here, let your chest fold to your shin. As you do this, the balance might get a little easier because we're closer to the floor, but keep bending the right knee. B, you should feel like this is a nice hip opener in that left hip or glute area. From here, we're going to go to half moon pose. So the right fingers are going to descend to the floor. You could put a block under them if you need to. And then we're going to straighten our standing leg and just try to open our body to the left, reaching the left leg behind us. Keeping your balance in transition if possible. Stack the shoulders, push through that lifted heel. Ardha Chandrasana. Now bend your front knee. Step back to warrior two. Reverse warrior, and then let's straighten the front leg and come into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Fingers to shin, or I like back of the hand against the inner shin, because if I push, it helps me to open my shoulders. Top arm up. Root the feet into the floor. Both legs are straight in this pose, but we don't want to lock that front knee. So think about lifting your quad and pushing the foot into the floor rather than pushing your kneecap back. Come on up, stretch back. Let's take a vinyasa. Maybe one-legged chaturanga if that feels good for you at this point. From down dog, inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop. Half lift. Fold. Chair pose. Other side, standing on the left foot this time. That right ankle is going to cross onto the thigh above the knee. Palms together. Keep breathing. Stay with that ujjayi. Start to fold over your shin. Keep the balance. So resist that temptation to bring the fingers to the floor just yet. Keep bending the left knee. That will get you deeper into that hip stretch. Now, the left fingers are going to come to the floor as we transition to half moon. Attempt to keep your balance in transition. Straighten your standing leg and then just open it up. Extend the leg, extend the arm up. Do your best. Bend your front knee to step to the back of the mat. We're in warrior two. Reverse warrior, straighten up that front leg. Let's go into triangle, Trikonasana. Sides of the torso are long in this pose. Notice if you tend to like round the sides of your body just to try to get the hand closer to the ground. This pose is more about extension than going low. And reverse. And vinyasa. Breathe. Look to the front of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, step walk or hop the feet forward. We're going to keep working with some balance stuff here. So let's go ahead and we're going to first just take Padangusthasana. So first two fingers grab the big toes. The feet can be about hip distance apart in this one. Pull up on the toes, lift and lengthen your torso, reach your head away. And then try to keep the length in your spine as you bend your elbows and just pull your chest towards your legs. Let your neck relax. Shoulders are moving onto your back, away from your ears. Okay, so we're gonna hang on to the left big toe. Take the right hand to the hip and then trying to come on up, hanging on to that foot so that the left foot comes up with us as we stand on the right. Extend your leg out, shoulders back. We're gonna be going through several balance poses here in sequence, so do your best to keep your balance. Balancing transitions can really improve our balance overall in poses. Let's take the leg open to the side. So small transition here, but still every time we move we might wobble. That's part of it. It's okay. Stay with it as long as you can. Now we're going to bend the knee and adjust that foot so that the heel comes behind us. We're going to grab for the inner foot and take dancer pose. Pull the heel up away from the hip and then that right arm can reach out or up, whatever version you like here in dancer. From dancer, we're going to try to go to warrior three. I'm going to do this with palms together in front of my heart, but if you want, you can extend the arms ahead of you. Let go of your foot and push your heel back so that the leg straightens out. Level out your torso with the floor. All right, and then bend your front knee. We're going to go back into warrior one. We're going to take a dancing warrior sequence. So inhale. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. We add extended side angle to our sequence now, but still following the breath. Inhale, reverse, and then hands to the floor, moving through vinyasa. Breathe. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step walk or hop forward. Half lift. Fold. And let's go ahead. This time we're going to grab our right big toe because we're going to be standing on the left foot. So you can have the feet about hip distance. Left hand to the hip. See if you're able to just come on up. Work where you're at today. If you need to be near a wall for these poses, certainly do that for yourself. Try to move the right shoulder back and keep your torso upright. And then let's take the leg open to the side. Still breathing, at least I hope so. Bend your right knee and start to move the heel behind you, letting your hand adjust to the inner foot for dancer pose. Move the heel away from the hip, lift on up. Maybe arm up or forward. And then warrior three. See if you can just carefully let go of your lifted foot, bring your palms together or extend your arms alongside your ears, and then extend the leg back behind you. Work towards finding a level position. It's an awkward pose to come into it from, but see if you can make the adjustment in balance. Shoulder blades on your back, head forward, heel pushes behind you. And then bend the front knee, step back to warrior one. Let's take our dancing warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, extended side. Inhale, reverse. And follow through your vinyasa here. Breathing. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop forward. Half lift and fold. Let's take chair pose one last time, and then we're going to drop to our hips for boat pose, Navasana. Take the shins up, reach the arms out, lift the heart. From here, let's cross the right leg over the left. See if you can do this while still balancing on your sit bones. See if you can grab the right foot with the left hand, and then bending your left knee, reach for that foot with the right hand. Gomukhasana, cow face pose. We're going to bring the feet by the sides of the body, knees stack. Now you're sitting. Let's take the right arm up, bend the elbow, pull that elbow towards the ear, or arm behind you and bind. So I can kind of show you how this bind works, at least in theory. Arm up, left arm back, fingers clasp, and then keep that right elbow up. And then you can fold. Turn it all the way around. So this is going to be, obviously, if you're working the bind, a little bit of work for the shoulders, but we're also getting into the hips in this stretch with the legs. Come on up, let's release. We're going to take another boat pose, and we're going to do the other side out of boat pose this time. So again, Navasana, coming into it, finding balance. This is some core work for you. And then we're going to cross the other way. So for me, left over right, grab the left foot, bend the right, grab that foot, and then you're trying to bring the feet by the hips, but without setting the soles of the feet on the floor. It's the edges of the feet. The knees should stack here. And then we're going to work the left arm. So up, and you can just hold the elbow, pull the elbow towards your head, or if you took that bind on the first side, try that on the second side as well. Shoulders back, elbow up. And then you can just stay, or if you want to go a little deeper into the hip stretch, you can fold down. Okay, release the bind, release the fold. Come on up, uncross the legs, and we're going to roll back to the floor. Let yourself lower. We're going to do a little bit more flow here, but then we're going to go into some back bends. So this is kind of like a nice feel-good flow. We're going to do heels slightly away from the hips, press the feet down, and then on an inhale, roll your hips up. Try to roll up through the spine. You can also let the arms arc up and over at the same time. Exhale, rolling your spine down. Hands come by your sides. Inhale up, exhale lower, and up, and lower, and one more time we're going to lift up, but this time we're going to hold up. So keep the hips up. You can bring your upper arms back to the floor and kind of push down with the fingers pointing towards the ceiling, or many of you will be able to wiggle your shoulders underneath your upper back and interlace your fingers below your hips. Bridge pose. Feet should be pointing forward with knees over ankles. I know you probably can't see your own feet, but see if you can kind of feel what's going on there at least. And then getting the shoulders out of the way. Roll your spine nice and easy to the floor. Take a couple breaths, and we're going to do one more back bend. So either another bridge, or if you want to take a wheel pose here, full Dhanurasana. Hands next to the ears, fingers point towards the shoulders, elbows point towards the sky. Push down with the feet. Roll first to just the top of the head. And this is to just get the alignment back settled before you push all the way up. Plug your shoulders in, make sure your toes aren't turned out, and then straighten your limbs to float up. If it doesn't feel like floating, you can go back to bridge. If you want to go a little deeper while you're here, lift the heels, tiptoe your feet closer to your hands. Lower the heels back down again, but make sure the toes haven't turned out. And again, I know you can't see them. Do your best. When you're ready to come down, tuck your chin, come to the back of your head. Slowly lower your spine back to the floor. Let's hug the knees into the chest, so curl into a little ball. And then extend the legs up, reach the arms out overhead. Exhale, curl back into your little ball. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck in. Inhale, reach up and out. Exhale, in. Inhale, reach up again. And then trying to keep the right leg up, we're going to let the left leg lower. Maybe reaching behind your right calf. If you can grab a big toe, great. Gently move that leg towards your body. Now, we're going to try to grab, now this may not be possible for everyone, it's okay. If you need to bend your knee, that's fine, or if you need to just use your hand on your outer knee, that's fine. We're going to see if we can grab the foot with the left hand, so this is right foot, left hand, and move it across the body to the floor. And what we're doing is we're twisting our low body. The hips are going to stack, but turn your head back to the right. Let your right shoulder drop down. Me, my foot's running into the wall. If you find that, sometimes it's actually helpful. You can kind of push into your wall. Otherwise, just try to let it go. Okay, and then coming back up, we'll switch sides. So take your left leg up towards you, right leg down. And this is just like a gentle hamstring stretch as we pull that leg towards us. Shift on my mat a little bit here. And then if it's possible for you, grab the outer foot with your right hand. If it's not possible for you, just bend your knee and grab the outer knee with your right hand. That will work too. This way we're going to get a little bit more of a stretch for the outer leg and the hamstring if you can do it. But if you can't, then just do what you want and focus on the twist. And then once the leg is kind of down, turn your head back to the left. Let your left shoulder relax. Okay, and then come back up through center. All right, knees into the chest. Let's rock shoulders to hips. We're gonna rock all the way up to a squat. So see if you can get yourself to your feet. Use your hands if you need to. We're gonna take malasana. I'm coming to the center of my mat. You might wanna do the same. Palms together in front of the heart. Move the chest forward towards the thumbs. Little bit of arm balance. So we're gonna take crow pose. So crow pose, pretty base. I mean, it's a basic arm balance. It doesn't mean it's easy, right? But it's probably one of the first ones that we tend to work on if we're doing these. Upper arms inside the shins, hands to the mat. Shift your weight forward. And you kind of really just have to find a way to stack everything over the wrists so that your feet can float up off the floor because they're just not necessary anymore. So keep practicing that, or I'm going to show you how you can practice one-legged crow. This is a pose I have not mastered, but I do know sort of the principles of how to at least try it. So the first way, and I think this is a harder way, but it is for sure a way, is to come to crow and then see if you can shoot one leg back behind you without it falling to the ground. So remove one leg from your arm and then try to counterbalance it. So the other way, I think this way is a little easier, but it's relative because I still feel like it's a challenge. Instead of putting your shins under both legs, one leg is going to stay in the middle. Your hands are going to come to the floor. That first foot's going to come off the floor super easy, so the challenge is to get the second foot off the floor. The goal is to reach the leg back behind you, let your nose kind of drop to the floor so it's kind of a balance, counterbalance situation. So just practice. I always like to think like if I was a kid on the playground and I saw my friend doing this, I'd be like, oh, that looks like fun, and I would try it, and if I fell on my face, if I fell on my butt, I would laugh and try again. Don't hurt yourself, but feel free to try these things even if they don't work right away. Your body is gonna learn faster than your brain can teach it just by doing, trying, practicing. So we'll take maybe just a minute here just to see how this goes. And if you want to stick with regular crow, same principles apply. Just keep trying. When you're feeling done, when you've practiced enough for the day, let's take Padahastasana to release the wrists. So one at a time, slide your hands underneath the feet with the toes to the wrists. Wiggle the toes into the wrists. Lift your shoulders, let your head hang down heavy. No rush into this pose. If you've still got a crow left in you, give it a go. Release your hands out from underneath the feet. Let's roll up to standing. We're going to step out wide for Prasarita Padottanasana. So parallel your feet, take your hands to your hips, fold on down. Fingers to floor between the feet, lean in, head hangs heavy. If you feel like you want to do a tripod headstand here, you can, always optional. And so if your feet are up, obviously take your time, but if you're folding, we're gonna go into a twist. Left hand to right leg, hang on, and then take the right arm up, twisting open, lengthening your torso. And then just switching sides, right hand to left leg, left arm up, twisting open, lengthening. And then hands to your hips, root down to float back up. We're gonna turn the heels in, bring palms together in front of the heart, bend the knees towards the toes. Sometimes called goddess pose, I've also heard it called horse pose, but basically we're bending the knees towards the toes, sinking down to get into our hip joints here. And then we can shift to the right, and shift to the left, and shift to the right, and shift to the left. And then we're eventually just going to shift everything to the right, knees over toes, drop your hips down. Option to either stay a little bit balanced here with palms pressing and twist, or you can take a bind, wrapping around the right arm. The leg is not on the floor, your heel is, but not the leg. Twist your chest open. And then we're gonna drop the hips down. The left leg is extended. We're gonna tuck the right foot in, angle our body towards the left leg, and fold for Janu Shirshasana. And come on up. Bring your right foot next to you. And we're just gonna start to walk ourselves to our left foot. Feet together, roll up to standing. And we're gonna step out wide again. Let's do a second variation on Prasarita. So hands behind the back, interlace fingers, shoulder blades back and down, fold the heart down. Breathe here. Root down to rise back up, turn the heels in, palms together, Drop the hips, knees go wide over the toes. Shift to the left and to the right and to the left and to the right. And then this time we're going to go all the way to the left so we can do the same stretch on this other side. So pop onto your right heel, left elbow inside the knee, press the palms, or try to wrap around and bind. Chest opens to the ceiling. When you're ready to come out, we're just gonna drop the hips down, like really intentionally. Keep the right leg extended, tuck the sole of your left foot in, facing your right leg. Janushirshasana. Come on up. Once again, bring the left foot to the mat, but we're gonna bring the right foot in as well and just hug into a little ball here. And then taking the knees wide, bringing the heels in towards you, Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Let your upper body drape down. If you want to use your elbows gently against the knees, you can. I encourage you slightly activating the legs by pushing up against the elbows with the legs or in the knees. All right, coming up. At this point, I encourage you to make your way to the floor for Shavasana. So just let yourself lay back, maybe take a quick happy baby or hug your knees in. I'm gonna stay up in a seated position though, just so I can close this practice with you. So Shavasana, I heard when I was doing my teacher training to try to take about 5 minutes of Shavasana for every half an hour of practice. So if you've got 10 minutes, try to take 10 minutes in Shavasana. If you don't have that long, however, take the time that you do have. It really does complete your practice. So just lay in corpse pose and give up the weight of your body to the floor and enjoy being effort-free for a few minutes. Thank you so much again for joining me. So I'm going to seal the practice with you with just a simple bow forward. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste. All right, wonderful, good job. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. If you liked this practice, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I do hope that you'll do so and then join me again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.